Hello?
It makes my eyes water to not blink.
Every time.
I can't do it.
Every stinking time, everybody. How you doing?
How am I? I'm good.
Did you have a good day?
I did. It's my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Sarita.
Happy birthday, Nonna.
Nonna. Hope you had a good one.
It was a good day. We had all the cousins
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
under one, well, outside, but under one roof.
That sounds relaxing.
Outside. We had
Yeah.
the kiddie pool
That's
going and
party.
the sprinkler going.
Can't beat that with a stick. Can't shake a stick at it.
The kids were loving it. They love their cousins and they miss them all these weeks and weeks. So a little sprinkler time with the cousins was
Our kids
in order.
have a few cousins too. So it's like if our kids ever get mad at somebody at school and like, I'm going to go get my cousin, you better watch out. Because there's a bunch
It's
of them.
over. Yeah, it's
They're going to get cousins, plural. There's multiple.
lots of cousins.
They're everywhere. Like a tri-county area. They're all over the place.
That's true too.
Yeah.
They'll
They start
outnumber
showing
you.
up and showing out. It's kind of intimidating.
They're very close in age.
Hey, Miss Janice.
Pretty much. There's like a pack that were all born together, and then there's
Yeah.
a little bit of a break, and now there's a new.
Don't your parents have
little new pack.
grandkids that are 8 to 0 every year?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Miles is 2.
Two.
Somebody missed that. I don't know what happened 3 years ago.
Way to go,
Somebody
dang it,
missed the
BJ.
mark. Sorry. And then 2, and then 8 months and newborn.
Wow.
So we're
I mean,
pretty
that's a
close.
lot.
We're pretty.
That's a lot of them, though.
No, we've got plenty.
We're out. Heralds are done contributing.
We're out. Done. We're on the top end
We'll
of
start
that list.
focusing on like getting cars and stuff. In
We
a couple
started
years.
the ball rolling.
We
So,
started that thing. We did years ago.
Yeah.
Back in a simpler time.
are you getting a phone call?
I had prayer requests on my phone. That's where using Shawnee's. Somebody from Athens. Oh wow.
Wow, you're getting a lot of.
I got text message,
lot of
phone call
messages.
from Athens. I'm not going to answer it. It's probably crazy.
How are you guys? Everybody good?
Hey everybody.
I'm looking
Glad
at some
you're
of the
here tonight.
names.
Anoche.
Hi, Miss Carolyn.
Laura,
From Tennessee.
Carolyn from Tennessee, Janice and Jen Zappa.
Miss Jen.
Hope everybody's doing okay. We've got everything just about. We're getting it lined up for this weekend, so kind of worked on a lot of that today, and
We
wrote my first
we
baccalaureate
finished our
service. That'll be
school
fun.
today. Our last
Finished
day
our
of
school today.
education for the year.
Congratulations, children.
It was happy, sad moment.
Congratulations. It was.
Luke kept complaining that his allergies were making dust get in his eyes.
That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
He was emotional, but did not want me to know it.
I understand.
I was emotional too. I get it.
We're just an emotional bunch. We're just a wreck.
But we're
But we're
also
done with
not
school.
sad that it's over.
We're
not
done with school.
sad that it's over.
Hey, cuz,
Happy that
Jennifer,
it's over.
up in New York State. Hope y'all are hanging out. Wow. Hang in there, New York State. And Michigan. Hang in there, people.
That's an
But,
encouraging way to say it.
Well, I mean, hang in
Like,
there. It's a
wow.
legitimate thing. Hang in there. Cousin Jennifer, you're there. She's holding down the fort.
She is.
Upstate's hanging in.
Cousin Jennifer, I say that because there's lots of Jennifers right there now. But I've been following Tatiana's
Yes.
story, and I'm excited to see that it seems like she's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
have her lung
wonderful news, y'all.
transplant.
Absolutely wonderful.
So, if those of you who might not remember or didn't see us talk about that before, this young woman had COVID-19 and she tested negative for that just in the last week. So she has recovered, except that it took a toll on her lungs, and so it made a lung transplant necessary. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, she
I'll
now
try to find
has been selected for a transplant,
Yeah.
and she's on her way.
That's wonderful.
There may be more new
More
information,
details
but
as Jennifer sends us. She's texting me. I
very
need to reread
exciting.
the pictures there. A couple other fun things. Sherry Terrell. Terrell? How do you say Terrell?
I say Terrell.
I mean, it's like our last name. Harrell, Harrell. I don't know. We get it. Trust me, I get
It's a
it.
big family
Sherry
in Morgan
T.
County.
Pastor T over at Union Springs Baptist Church in Rutledge. Y'all, this is a great
are
opportunity.
doing great
She
things.
just now texted me. I got a voicemail. We'll see who that is. Just now texted me and said tomorrow at Union Springs Baptist Church, they will be packing at 12 o'clock boxes of food. I think they're going for 150 boxes again. The Ministers Union in Morgan County is doing this. It's a neat thing. We got to go last Saturday at 11 at the high school. That'll also be taking place if you want to come and grab some
It is
masks
very,
and some
very
gloves.
cool. Masks and
And
gloves.
we just give out food. So if you know anybody that would like a box of food or is in need of one, tell them to come by the high
Send them
school.
there.
Right around 11 to 12. We're pretty much done by 12 o'clock.
It was right around 12 when we handed out the last box.
The last
I
box.
think. So it's pretty fast.
But then they will be packing boxes at Union Springs Baptist Church tomorrow at 12
That's
o'clock
also a
if you would like to
glove
help.
and mask.
That's a glove and
event.
mask kind of thing.
It's really great. They do all this shopping. She gets as much as she can local. All the eggs are from a local farm.
Yeah.
I think the milk is
It's
local.
It's a neat thing.
A lot of the produce, and then she shops for the rest between Ingalls and Freshway,
Yeah,
depending
and
on
Freshway
the
and
price.
Social Circle.
And they send it out bulk and
So
load it up. So
Really good.
it's really, really
it's a
neat.
great opportunity, and it's a neat thing. All the churches in Morgan County have been
Work
coming together
together.
to do this and fund it, and it's cool.
It's a lot of
Really,
fun.
really good group of folks.
Very cool.
A couple other things, actually, and it's sometimes these things just come in waves. Today, I woke not was later throughout the morning, but 3 or 4 different prayer requests from folks. I'm just going to read some of these to you. I'm going to try to summarize it as I read it. Melanie Powell, we all know Melanie at church. Melanie Powell
Melanie.
asked for us to be praying for her sister-in-law, Kristen, and Kristen's family. Kristen's sister, Carol, who lives in Boston. Anyway, she's been in the ICU with cancer, but they're making some progress. So if you know Miss Melanie, just shoot her a message. Let her know you'll be praying. Her name is Carol, for some of Melanie's extended family there. And then also, like Shonda just said, cousin Jennifer, Tatiana with a lung transplant, 21 years old. We're going to continue to pray for her. Also, Linda Robinson. Linda's on here. I think I saw Linda's name earlier. Linda's son-in-law, his brother, actually passed away. I think it was today, Linda, or yesterday. I talked to him earlier, and man, it's a great family with the twins.
Yeah.
Linda, you got
Sweet.
you got a good family, girl.
Kids.
My goodness.
I remember when they were so
I know.
little,
That's what I told him today.
Like Luke, basically.
It was crazy. I said, man, she had surgery. Your granddaughter had surgery on her
On her
knee, right,
yeah.
Linda? And Kevin Magnus and I went, and she was a little bitty girl.
I think they were 8.
And they were
like
Luke's
Luke.
age. That's the thing. And that's what I told him today. I was like, your kids were my kids' age, and now they're
they're-
driving and 16. But a wonderful family. But just be praying for them. If you see Linda on here, you can message her as well. We're trying to lift up those things as we get ready to get into the book of Nehemiah, chapters 4 and 5 tonight. Nehemiah, chapter 4 and 5. Nehi. I got all kinds of texts about that last night.
Did you?
Historical facts and figures. Kevin Kelly, check this out. Let's read that.
I've never
since we're
seen
not
it.
recording.
I've literally never seen it.
Kevin Kelly
Maybe
texted
I
me this
missed
last
it.
night. Mercy, hold on. Let's scroll. Look at all these text messages.
The
Okay.
way that you use your phone is like an old person.
The classic flavor of Nehi soft drinks has been a definitive thirst quencher since its introduction in 1924. Great Depression. This is
real,
true.
Or are you making
Unless
this
Kevin's
up?
making this junk up. Nehi grape soda is boldly refreshing with sweet grape flavor and ideal for grape soda lovers with a superior
Where did
caffeine
this come
coffee
from?
drink.
Is this their website?
Container type, glass bottle. Who makes the Nehi glass soda? I don't know where this data is coming from. Probably something legitimate like Wikipedia. The Nehi Corporation name was adopted in 1928 after the Nehi fruit-flavored sodas became popular.
You were making
I'm just
up
saying, that was the
lies, but
Depression.
They were near the truth.
It's close. In 1955, the company changed its name
Oh, RC Cola.
to Royal Crown Company after the success of its RC Cola brand. Huh.
I do know.
Founded
RC
by,
Cola.
it wasn't a Methodist minister in Charleston.
Oh,
It was
so
founded by
close, so
Claude
close.
Hatchett, a Columbus, Georgia grocer who began bottling ginger ale and root beer in 1905. Well,
Ginger
I
ale.
declare, look at that. Thanks, Kev. Just want to share some information.
What's
with
my
everybody
Red
tonight.
Rock ginger ale? That's-
Red Rock will take your
that's
breath away if you drink that stuff.
yum.
Good
That's
grief.
my favorite.
Steve Powers used to love that stuff.
So
Wow.
good.
That was too much. I can't.
It's very spicy if you've not had it, but it's great.
It's very spicy.
It's hard to find.
It is.
It used to be hard to find Cheerwine,
Yeah.
but now it's here. You can get
I grew up on
Cheerwine.
the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, not the beach coast, just the
Coast.
just the coast of the
Just the
Savannah
border.
River,
It's not.
the coast of
Okay.
Clarks Hill Lake, aka Strom Thurmond on the
So
South
you
Carolina
had
side.
Cheerwine all the time in your whole life?
We didn't drink it. We were more Big K kind of people. Dr. Thunder,
Yeah, well, we were
Sam's
too.
Choice
I'm
Cola.
saying-
Those things were like 10 cents, I think. My
I'm
dad's on
saying
here.
we would go into the Carolinas and see Cheerwine and be so excited. But that's a whole nother. We
That's
don't need to
another-
start a whole
That's
nother
another
cola
discussion.
discussion
As
for
we
a
get
whole
into
nother
Nehemiah,
night.
I just don't have time. I don't have time. All right, you want to lead this one off?
Our social calendar's so full.
Slammed.
You can start us off.
All right,
I'm
Nehemiah
gonna
chapter
listen.
4. If you got a Bible,
Okay.
open up.
Surprise.
We'll be digging into this
didn't
thing.
seem
I have a
like you
couple
would
things
ask
in here. First, there's a few people that are angry and jeering. The word actually is jeered at the Jews. Like, these guys are angry. It names them by name. I'm just saying, if my name was in the Bible,
Mine says furious and indignant and mocked the Jews.
New King James in play.
They are not happy.
These guys are angry that Nehemiah is coming in and trying to get some structure. You know,
They are like hurling insults.
jeered at the Jews. They're angry. They're trying to start something.
They don't like it at all.
They're what was yours again? Read it one more time. Insensitive.
Indignant.
Indignant. That's legitimate.
And mocked the Jews. Furious and very indignant.
Furious and very indignant. So these guys are angry at Nehi for building the wall. And Nehemiah says, you know what, we're going to keep pushing forward. He says, focus on the Lord. The next thing I had was in verse 6. It says, so he built the wall. Okay, so Nehemiah is pushing through with this thing day and night to get this wall built, even though a whole lot of people are angry. Good little sidebar. If you feel like the Lord has laid something on your heart to do, do it, even if people are jeering at you, even if people are saying you can't do it or it's not going to work. Who are you going to trust? The Lord or the people? Anyway, it says at the end of verse 6, for the people had a mind to work. It says, we built the wall, and all the walls joined together to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. In the midst of all this jeering, I like that because it shows that Nehemiah was a strong leader. He had given the people a vision, and he was following through with the vision. The people don't just work in the midst of jeering and opposition unless they know they're following someone that's a strong leader. So Nehemiah is doing that well. And then it keeps naming people after that are just seriously against him.
Really upset about it.
Really upset.
I thought the same thing because
It was
it
a
said
fighter
at
jet.
one point that it's about to be loud. Something's flying over. Something loud is flying over. We'll let it pass.
I'm going to check it out.
Dane's gonna check it out. I don't. Are we? There it is, a helicopter. All that.
I hate to be the first to say, but I think the British are coming. You know what I mean? No, it's actually like a news chopper or something like
Just
that.
a helicopter.
Just a mere helicopter.
What was I saying? Oh, it said that at one point, and you'll have to forgive me, I actually listened to this while I was driving, so I
the
don't have
British guy
anything
read to you?
underlined. He was not British. It was just my regular
that was good.
American voice.
Just flew. Janice. We're
Ah,
close.
we
I
are
get
close.
it. Janice. Listen, Janice. Hey!
I don't think she's that close.
That would be cool, though. Janice, we're neighbors, pretty much.
That's a good test for how far away somebody might be.
Continue.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what number it is, but it said that their women and children worked alongside them. Because last night we talked about how he listed out each family and they built right in front of what would be their home. So everybody kind of sort of took their part of the wall to build.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing. She heard you.
No, she did not.
That's crazy.
Did you hear me on the phone?
Huh.
Or in the woods, Janice? Janice, how close are you? Good grief. Yell back, Janice. I'm just kidding. Honk your horn. Honk twice if you can hear me. Janice, we got to get some addresses.
Janice,
Girl,
we're
we'll bring some
neighbors.
brownies
We should
over.
have a cookout.
I declare.
Come over to the porch.
Come over to the porch,
We're
Janice.
here.
My
Come on
dog's in a frantic pacing. Okay, I
He's
keep
panicking.
interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, I thought the same thing, that it said, at some point it said that all the families were working together, and I thought, man, he really has inspired these people. They're working as a family in the midst
As
of,
family units.
She's just kidding. In the midst of a lot of opposition, they've got their whole family out there working, and he is also right alongside. So I thought that it really makes Nehemiah seem like a great leader, that they're putting a lot of trust in what he has decided they're going to do. It's not easy to get a group of people to just go along with your plan with their whole families while they're at risk. It's a lot.
When it
And
says
they're doing it.
the plan backfires, because it says that these guys, I mean, listen to these names. Sanballat, come on. Tobiah, that's kind of cool. Arabs, Ammonites,
Are you making
Ashdodites.
fun of their unique name?
Nope,
Because
nope, because
I
we have
can
people from all over the world
sympathize
watching. I get it.
with unique
But
names.
this idea, like they come together and said, hey, how about you stop? We're going to kill you. That's pretty black and white. So the Jews actually send word out and say, hey, y'all, these folks are saying they're going to kill us. And it says they showed up 10 times from all over the place to help rebuild the wall. The plan was actually backfiring. It's really, really impressive they were doing that. In verse 14, I looked and arose and said to the nobles and officials, the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord. Remember the Lord who is great and awesome. Remember the Lord. I like that. I think sometimes when we get into a time of despair or struggle, it is always beneficial for us to stop and remember the Lord. There's look at that bumper sticker. Remember we used to look it up? Had like an olive branch and said remember. We used to wonder where it came from. Did we ever find that out? Is my
Yeah,
nose
but
peeling
I don't know.
bad?
It is
My
peeling.
nose is peeling so bad,
We're
y'all.
both
And up
very
here,
sunburned.
y'all, this little pre-balding thing,
Well,
I got.
let me say, if 80 cars full of your best friends come to a
We're
parking
gonna
lot,
talk.
guess what
We're
you're
gonna
going to
chit
do?
chat.
You're going to stand and talk
we're
to
gonna get
each car.
sunburned. And this Sunday we're gonna wear some sunscreen.
We will have sunscreen.
At least on my head
I
or a
was
hat or
focused
something.
on the fact that my phone was telling me it was going to be 39 degrees, which it was when I arrived to the parking lot early.
Yeah, I get it.
The 39 scared me right out of thinking about anything to be sunburned. So I never in a million years thought that standing in that parking lot
Would shut it down.
But I also didn't expect to be saying goodbye to so many cars for an hour.
It was a good time.
Which was a good problem to have, and I
you
would
were
do
there.
it
So was your
again.
mom. Had a blast.
I would just put a sunscreen on.
I'll put sunscreen on. So he says at the bottom, remember the Lord who is great and awesome. I think that's so good to stop and remember the Lord. And then I like this line. It says, and fight. He says, are you ready to fight? Fight for what? Fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. Again, Nehemiah is bringing this thing back to the porch. Like he's bringing it back to the dining room table. Like saying, look, this is what we're about. When we keep that as our main focus, everything else will fall into place. And Old Testament, New Testament is the same. Like, you put your family at the forefront. You have the Lord first, remember the Lord, and then fight for your family. He says, and I think it's important to do it in that order because God's going to fight for our families. He wants us to do the same.
That really, when I was driving and my phone was reading this, it said, fight for your families. That's the phrasing that it used. And it made me think so strongly of when we, unfortunately, have to sit down with couples who are usually at their wits' end and their marriage is falling apart. And what we always say to them is, fight for your family. Throw everything out there. Don't let anything be left unsaid. If you're about to lose it all, what do you have to lose?
Go out with a fight. Like a fight for what's
and
good.
The way that it was worded with my phone reading it to me, it just reminded me of how you always say, you have to fight for your family. Yeah. But I thought that these people were fighting for their security of their new town and the new part of where they were going to be living. They were fighting with everything, but it was a very proactive thing. Yeah. And when we are saying that to families, it's usually very reactive. And so I think that it's so important that if you have a family and you are in a good place and you have your kids with you and your spouse and you're in love, fight for that.
Yep.
Fight hard for it before it's too late and you're fighting to save it. Yeah. They were not necessarily fighting to save. They were fighting to build something new. Yeah. That's right. And I think that's
and so sometimes it helps put it in perspective to know, and this is New Testament, all throughout the New Testament, know what we're fighting against. Sometimes husbands and wives and kids are being crazy and
busyness.
Families. Yeah. Like the devil hates that. He hates what's good and he hates the faith. So if you start to identify a struggle in the house, instead of saying, like, man, I'm so mad at my wife, there is absolutely nothing wrong or crazy. It's going to sound kind of crazy. Nothing wrong or crazy with saying, devil, get out. Like, my fight's against you. My fight's against all these things that are trying to make their way into my house and attack my marriage and attack my kids.
Right.
Don't go out and fight the good fight. Wives, if you see your husband's tired because he's been fighting against the enemy trying to get into your house, support him. Lift him up. Husbands, if you see your wife is worn out because she's been fighting to protect the kids and protect your marriage and protect that, lift her up. And when I'm telling you, that's the stuff when it says a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So you got a husband and wife on the same page, the Lord's in that mix. It's not going to get. It's not going down.
And so in this situation, they are facing opposition to build this new kingdom, essentially. And they have to be confident that what they're doing is of the Lord and that He's on their side, and that also they fight. And then immediately it says they start to say, Nehemiah says, okay, half of you, because the wall is half built, and so their enemies are starting to realize this is happening. Like, this wall is half built. So they start to attack them, and that's when it says that God is foiling their plans. So Nehemiah says, okay, half of you build, the other half of you stand guard.
Stand guard
day,
and take shifts.
Night.
One
and
point
even
like
the
phrase,
builders have
he
a
says
sword
we never
on
even
their
took our
side.
clothes off. Like, it was just nonstop. Like,
they never took off their weapons.
Fight this.
And so it's...
That's what you're up against back then.
Right. But even spiritually, and we don't really talk about this a lot, that is the situation. That if you're a Christian, and nobody really likes to talk about this, but we do have an enemy in the world, and he does not want us to succeed. And if you stand your guard day and night, and I think that that's why God has us in couples, most of us, as a married couple, one of you can be strong and fight while the other one is tending to the things that need to happen, and then you trade out.
Yeah, and that's why you have church and small group and Bible. So you have other people in your life too that can say, we're going to stand alongside you and fight with you as well in this. Like,
they were really building a kingdom because this relationship, they were protecting each other from the beginning.
That's right.
And that's a big important.
So he says, remember the Lord, fight for your families. And then all the way down into verse 20, it says, our God will fight for us. Like he says, that's the pattern there. Like, remember the Lord, give him the credit, fight for your family yourself, and remember, God's on our side. Like, God's going to fight this thing
You're not
for us.
going to fail. It's just a good thing to be aware of what's happening.
And everybody had their weapon in the right hand, so they were ready at all times to go down.
Which, if you're building a wall with a weapon in your right hand, that's tough.
That is tough.
I'm not coordinated for that.
I'm not coordinated without a weapon.
I was about to say, I would have a hard time building a wall with no weapon, but
coffee in my right hand.
that's just me.
Hard enough.
I can do anything with coffee.
I can do,
but not a weapon.
That's almost a Bible verse. That's in the Message translation. Right?
And through Christ who strengthens me.
Easy. In Nehemiah chapter 5, he gets into this whole topic of stopping the oppression of the poor. I have a few things underlined there. Pretty impressive, y'all. Throughout the Old Testament, we see the heart of God, and the heart of God is for the poor. He's for those who cannot provide. And in the Old Testament, there are a lot of systems in place where if you're born poor, you're going to be poor forever. Like Jesus said, you'll have the poor with you always. He said, continue to care for those. But especially here, Nehemiah's reminding everybody, look, we're in this thing together. These are our people. This is our literal tribe. He's saying this is our faith. We got to stop this taking advantage of each other. He says, in a couple things I underlined, says the thing you're doing is not good. He's talking to people that had loaned out money and were charging high interest and taking advantage
of their own people. So you're here trying to fight to get this identity and this kingdom formed.
And yet you're taking advantage of each other. He said, you got brothers selling each other into slavery and stuff. He said, we got to stop. Our heart's not in it. He said, let's abandon this exacting of interest. And all the assembly said amen at the end of his speech. Because I think everybody was like, that's right. Now you got to imagine, though, some people are going to lose money in this. Like, some people were making money off of taking advantage of poor people and people in difficult situations. But I'm telling y'all, every verse I read in Scripture about that, God's warning is always to the people that are taking advantage of the poor and the oppressed. You know, like he's always saying, I will stand with the poor and the oppressed, cautious to you who are taking advantage of them. So I think that's good for even for us today. You know, I mean, it's different, a little bit different for us today, but y'all know that stuff. Just let's be honest for a second. Where are all of the title pawn kind of places? You know, where are all the cash your checks immediately kind of stuff? It's usually in neighborhoods that are struggling financially, inside of town that's struggling financially. So to me, I look at that and I'm like, man, you got people out there charging 300-400% interest. Like, anyway, it's just not good. Different sermon, but here specifically, Nehemiah is saying the Lord wants us to care for the poor.
Well, and I think that he's really trying to build, they are literally building a wall, but I think they're trying to build a people group that will care for each other. And you can't do that if on one hand you're helping protect each other's physical house, but then you're also charging these debts that really aren't realistic to be repaid just so you can be rich. And he's saying, we're not going to be that kind of people.
It says a house divided will fall, you know, and we all know that. You know, the best way to ruin your house, start something with you and your spouse and divide the house. Like, you start dividing it, the best way the kids are great at this thing. My kids are so stinking young still, but they're great at it. Even at their age, they know if they can get me and mom to like have a different opinion on something,
then they're gonna win.
Golden.
They're gonna take you down.
So I mean, but it's like that with anything. I mean, a house divided. So he says a people group divided, a church divided, a country divided. Any division is not going to lead to as much effectiveness as it could be the other way.
Then Nehemiah goes one step further, and I guess there's a governor's tax. He's now the governor of this area, and they're supposed to pay him a tax. And they're supposed to give him all this food and wine on every so many days or every week. He has this huge feast prepared for him. And instead, he doesn't collect the tax. It says for 12 years of his reign, he never collects the tax. And he feeds 150 people off of his own table every week when they fix this huge feast with oxen and poultry and all this feast. They bring all the people in and feed them, which is not standard. It's not the way to do it. And to me, that's just an example of a servant leadership model. Right. He's really investing in the people that he's asking to have work from.
Absolutely.
In a very tangible way. He's not just investing in them and saying like, hey, you guys are doing a great job. He's giving them back their money. He's giving them food when they need it and all the things. He really sees their needs and he's meeting them.
And the very last verse that I like just shows his heart again. He says in verse 19 of chapter 5, remember for my good, oh my God, all that I've done for this people. So you see his heart is for the people. I think that's a strong leader. His heart is for the people that he's leading. And he's making decisions on behalf of a whole lot of people, which is not easy. That's why I think in the New Testament we're told to pray for our leaders because they're making decisions for a whole lot of people. But here he's even saying that in his prayer. God, look at what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to lead well. I think that shows his heart.
Definitely. I just think that he's a good example of how to be a strong leader and how to have people invest back in you because you've invested in them.
Yeah, that's right. So wherever you are on that spectrum, we hope. I mean, there's truth in all this stuff, y'all, for all of us today. The story continues. He continues doing this. I mean, he's building something that used to be there. He's rebuilding something that had fallen into rubble, and I like it. I think it's powerful. So, a couple of good chapters in Nehemiah. Tomorrow night we'll be in 6 and 7. Grab a Bible and join us then. And tomorrow's Friday. Watch out. We'll be doing that Friday night style. Friday night on the back porch. We'll be there. But until then, hope you have a lovely evening. Watching some Office reruns or whatever you're going to do tonight.
Yeah, he's saying that because that's what we have left to watch.
Oh my.
We've run out of TV shows.
This cool breeze though. If you're on the back porch somewhere, it feels good.
It does
Alright.
feel good.
Shawnee's tired. We're going in. Take care of yourself.
I'm not tired.
I can you went. It does feel good.
That does not mean I'm tired.
Shawnee doesn't know this, but I can read into
No.
her tone.
No.
I know what
Can-
she's thinking when she's thinking it, without saying anything.
Unless you're worried about being correct.
Stop. See, I knew it was coming. All right.
I think
Holla
that's
back,
enough.
y'all. We'll see you tomorrow night on Friday, whatever tomorrow's date is, 14th, 15th,
15th.
5:15, here on the back porch. Holla back.